Alright, so doing a little test, a little equipment test here. Got new stuff. Wanted to make a video because I haven't made a video in a long time. But one of the fun things that's happening now that I figured I'd chime in on is the whole thing around D&D. I guess kind of just fading, right? 5th edition special, 5th edition 0.5, whatever, 5.5, whatever the hell D&D 1 was supposed to be, did not work out very well, it seems, to the surprise of some people, I suppose. But there seems to be a feeling of, well, what are we going to do now that D&D is not in the spotlight? Is the hobby going to contract again? Has this popularity of D&D just been a flash in the pan, as it were, driven by Stranger Things and maybe some other shows? You know, the kind of explosion of nerd culture is something that's kind of cool, which was never the case when I was young, right? But whatever it is, D&D got real popular, and now it's going to recede from the spotlight for a while. Probably that's what Hasbro will do. That's kind of what they do with their IPs, is that you market it, you promote it, you make some money on it, and then once it burns out, you throw it on the back burner and just hold on to it, and then relaunch it years later, right? It's something that corporations like to do with IPs. Whether or not, whatever they do, I would submit to you, it doesn't really matter that much. People tend to, like, the truth about, Dungeons and Dragons and the editions, as it were, is that basically people tend to, whatever edition got them into the hobby and they played the most of, that's the one they tend to stick with, right? So people that started playing in 1st and 2nd edition still prefer the old school approach, right? Now there's the OSR and there's Castles and Crusades, but by and large they stick to that kind of game. People who kind of came in maybe in the late 90s, right, early 2000s, moved from like 2nd edition to 3rd edition, which is kind of me. Like, I started playing really early in middle school on the very 1st edition. Like, if I find the book I could dig it up, but it's the let's see, is it right here? This edition. This is the one that I started playing on, and this is like the 1977 edition or something like that. 79. But I started playing earlier than most people. Like, I started in like grade school. But that kind of edition, like, I really started playing a lot in 2nd edition, which was in like the end of high school into college. And then when 3rd edition came out, I was like, I don't want to play this crap. And my friends kind of convinced me, and I came to really like 3rd edition. And then we played that for years, and then when 4th edition came out, we tried it for a little bit, and I was like, this is crap. And we started playing Pathfinder. And so we pretty much stuck to Pathfinder up until really now, right? And it's only recently that I've started playing other systems and looking into them, right? A lot of the OSR stuff and some other stuff. Like, here's Fabula Ultima is one that I'm gonna jump in on because it seems like a really fun, interesting format. But the nice thing about getting a lot of people into D&D was that it brought a lot of attention, and it exploded the actual other content, like the innovation in the hobby. That is the hallmark of this sort of, the modern hallmark of this hobby, is that there's so much third-party content, and a lot of it is frankly a lot better than D&D, right? And when I say that it doesn't really matter if they fade or not, it's that people are still going to play, right? They're going to play other things. Maybe there's less new people coming into the hobby. I'm fine with that, to be perfectly honest. A lot of the, I'm going to just kind of rant a little bit, but a lot of the reason some of the old school players resent the sort of new wave of players is that, we've been playing this game for 30 plus years, and now these people come in and say that we don't belong in the hobby, or that we're doing it wrong, right? Which is just kind of ridiculous. So it's kind of, it creates this kind of sense of angst, and really, you know, whether or not you feel that way, it does make the hobby a little bit more combative, right? And it's not an enjoyable vibe. I liked it a lot more when everybody was a total nerd, and it was so hard to find other nerds that played this game that you ended up really learning to be much more tolerant, right, for the sake of being able to play the game, right? So you hung out with some fucking weird ass people, right? But whatever happens to D&D, the game goes on, right? And we all tend to play whatever system we started on anyways, right? So even if, you know, when they put out the new edition, most people who started playing 3rd edition and now 5th edition, they're just going to play 5th edition from here on out. Like, that is what they're going to play, and 30 years from now, they will still be playing 5th edition. It's really, the new editions are a way to bring in more people. Sometimes people switch over, but by and large, what I've noticed is that people stick to the edition that they played the most of when they were young. And young as in their 20s. And that's it. Other editions be damned. And of course, the printer wants to clean itself right now. Oh no, somebody's printing. But anyways, my 2 cents is that who cares? We got a lot of stuff out there. This might encourage people to be even more innovative. We'll check out even more systems, and we'll learn Fabula Ultima or Shadow Dark or any of the OSR stuff, Old School Essentials, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff is great stuff. Like, some people have made some really cool stuff that is worth checking out. And if D&D being out of the way helps more of that happen, then I'm all for it. Cheers. Drinking Balmore Aston Martin 18 years, which is way above my pay grade, but my brother-in-law is a doctor, so he gets me these things, and so now I'm drinking $300 whiskey. Salud.